everyone, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this is Unpopular Culture, and today we're here to talk about something we don't normally talk about, and that's sports, kinda?
Sports.
But not really. Today we're talking about the so-called big game spots. Because you can't say without...
Well, we can't say that.
The NFL suing
you.
You
Have to bleep. Yeah, now we have to bleep that.
Oh, can't say
Superb owl.
There you go. Okay, so... let's see, what are we talking about first? We're going to talk about the Solo trailer tomorrow on its own.
Yeah.
So let's talk about something which we find interesting, and that's, Jurassic World 2.
Do we have to?
I think so. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah.
Which is a title they went with.
You know though, the kingdom, it had formerly been higher than it was. And currently is, and then it came to the place it is now. So therefore, it has fallen, you fool.
So Chris Pratt, okay, is the trailer showed something we hadn't seen in the previous trailer, which is actually we see dinosaurs on the mainland. We see dinosaurs off of the island from the various Jurassic Park movies. Yes, I know there's 2 islands. Shut up. This leads me to believe that they're gonna pull. See, I assumed based on the first trailer they were gonna do the third act was gonna be the volcano going off and them escaping the island.
No, that's first act, friend.
I don't know if it's first act. I'm gonna place
end of first act.
I'm gonna say they're very much going to mirror The Lost World, and they're gonna place that at the end of the second act. That'll be almost like a pre-climax. They will get off the island.
Like edging?
And then the third act will be sort of a mini arc of them King Konging the dinosaurs, bringing them back to the mainland and having some escape.
How do you like these movies, noble viewer?
I still don't understand
I
how
don't
people
get
to
it.
this day...
We made 2 fuck Jurassic World movies, and both times, like, we got a lot of agreement, but we definitely got some people that are like, it's a great movie, what's your problem? Like, what's your do you like, I don't know, what's the last Transformers movie called?
The Last Night?
The Last Night. Sure, I thought it was like Dark Side of the Moon, but that's definitely...
No, that's like the 3rd or 4th one. They're on like 6 or 7 now.
Wait, Dark Side of the Moon's actually one? Because I know for a fact it's a Pink Floyd album.
Dark of the Moon.
Dark of the Moon. Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
Did I tell you about the time I was in a movie theater and I had to listen to 2 moviegoers? This is going to make me sound like a pretentious asshole. I'm really not. But when it comes to movies, I have certain fucking standards. I had to listen to someone trying to convince their friend that, like, the 4th Transformers movie was actually really fucking good, brah. Let me tell you why it's good, brah.
Did he say brah, and did he yell it?
He didn't, but I feel like that sort of encapsulates how I felt about the entire conversation.
Sure.
Anyway, so Chris Pratt...
He was eating Buffalo Wild Wings while doing it and slamming a Bud Light.
Yeah. Excuse me, sir, an America Light. Anyway.
He was bashing an America Light.
This entire video, by the way, is not going to be us making fun of people who like Transformers and or Jurassic World.
Okay.
Just
half of it won't be. The other half is definitely that.
Okay, so Chris Pratt's returning. What's her face in high heels?
What's her face? Jessica Chastain.
Oh wow, look at that.
Well, not her character, just her. She's an actress.
I know.
She's an Academy Award-winning actress.
I don't know her name, though. I know she's in Black Mirror.
She just got cut from a movie.
Oh.
I don't know why.
Was it because they felt she was too much of a liability because she
is in Jurassic World?
Jurassic World, and thus the insurance wouldn't pay for her because she might just stumble around. Because when you're saying yes to Jurassic World... Jurassic World made a lot of money. I understand why they would
They did a good job at making money. Not if how? Anyway, okay, so she's back.
By the way, anytime anyone says they like Jurassic World, can we cut to the fucking Jimmy Fallon cameo from that movie?
He has a cameo? Oh, fuck!
Produced by Steven Spielberg. Anyway, so enough about Jurassic World. It's pretty clear we don't like Jurassic World. Let's talk about a different world that I think we're a little more hyped for, and that is Westworld Season 2.
Wow, that was actually a good... You usually fumble through that. That was a good one. I ruined it by mentioning it. I know. But still, let it be known that that was a good segue.
Yeah, also, based on the works of Michael Crichton, interestingly. So, Westworld. The first season, if you haven't seen it, we're not going to spoil anything. Oh, boy.
By the way, I watched a thing the other day. I think it's Nerdwriter. If you don't know who Nerdwriter is, much better than us. Wrote and did a whole episode based on the acting skills of Anthony Hopkins, and it was in a scene where, and you remember, he's sitting down across from someone in like a Mexican cantina style thing. and it went through the range of emotions he's going through in these lines, and it just makes me appreciate Anthony Hopkins so much more. What a treasure! What a treasure! You should watch season 1 of Westworld if you have not yet. Catch up so you can be here, because we're probably doing on episode by episode.
Do you want to do it this
I
year?
think so,
Okay.
because I love that show.
It is honestly one of the best shows I think I like to sit on shows. I don't want to just blanket say because only season 1's
Breaking
out.
Bad.
If the quality of the show were to continue throughout that was in season 1, then it's probably the best show I've ever seen, and it's up there with Breaking Bad right now.
So Breaking Bad, I know you haven't caught up, but Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, Westworld. I'm trying to think of another show, not a movie, that I stack up against that. Better Call Saul, which I'm not caught up on.
Better Call Saul is pretty excellent.
Right.
It's different than Breaking Bad.
But I've seen. I think I finished the first season.
Oh yeah,
and that was really good. But I need to catch up on that. But so I mean, we're very limited. I can't stress this enough how exclusively that list is for me.
I could count on one hand the number of shows that are of this caliber. And I forget her name. Let me actually look real quick what the actress's name
Like, we love Doctor Who. We do a whole series better than Doctor Who.
Oh well, Doctor Who is
Who's camp fun,
but
and in a different category. But yeah.
And one of the actresses from the first season who played Maeve, who was started out as the prostitute, she's focused on primarily in the trailer. I believe it's her voiceover actually throughout it, which makes me believe it seems like they were. One of the things I like about
spoiling, there's definitely an arc.
Without spoiling, there are arcs for characters, and characters end up in very different places from where they begin. A character like her in the first season, when it starts out, you kind of assume is going to be a B.
It's Thandie Newton. She's an accomplished actress, but she's not like dropping Halle Berry into some obvious role where she's going to be a star later.
Yeah. So her prevalence in the trailer makes me interested in her role in season 2 and how, again, without spoilers, it's hard to talk about this.
But they focused on, and I forget that actress's name, the one that plays
Blonde,
our main protagonist. I think she's still the main protagonist, but they do a really good job of bouncing around enough to where it's not like, even in the first episode, there's a twist in the first episode.
Yeah.
Just with John Marston, is that his name, or am I thinking of
James Marston?
James Marston, because John Marston is Red Dead Redemption. I always get those two mixed up.
That's actually how I remember his name when I'm talking about this show.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I do too. Cyclops from X-Men, who worked with Halle Berry. It's which, by the way, he does a fantastic job in this series. Everyone, I'm trying to think of something I hated in it. I even like Thor's brother. Who played Thor in the play in Thor Ragnarok. That was the same guy. There is a Hemsworth, the security guard.
Oh, okay.
The security chief.
I like the McPoyle brother that's in Westworld.
Fuck yeah!
Which is, again, he was actually in Black Mirror as well.
He's always been a good actor.
I'd never seen him before.
Really?
Before Westworld, I hadn't seen him.
Sunny, Always Sunny.
I'd only seen him in that, so I'd never actually seen him try and act in a...
Well, if you think about what he's got to do with a McPoyle, it's pretty acty heavy.
I think that's true of a lot of comedy. I think a lot of people who are good at comedy can do drama well because they kind of rely on the same muscles, just sort of in reverse. But I'm talking metaphorically, not actual muscles. You know what I mean? Acting muscles.
None of which we have.
No. But anyway, again... wonderful cast. The writing is
Ed Harris,
amazing in this show. Great. Oh god, the guy who plays, again, we could list him. I'm not gonna list him.
The black guy with the nice beard.
Yeah. We see Mechanical Bull running.
That was fucking rad.
The effects on the show are great too. Could I suck this show's dick anymore?
It's like the opposite of what we'd like to do to Jurassic World.
Yeah. Well, one's good. So, again, they didn't show anything in the trailer, but if you've seen season 1 of Westworld, and probably this final episode in particular, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm interested in some of the other places in the park. I'll say that.
Yes, I am too.
They hinted at in the first...
Did they hint in the trailer?
No!
See, that's what I'm interested in as well, but I expect... Because, I mean, if you think about the trailers we got for season 1 of Westworld, which I was hyped about, because I knew very little about it, I just knew Crichton, and I guess the overall premise, because it was an old movie. They didn't give us a lot. in the first trailer. So they don't give us a lot in the second one, and that's great because the pacing of this show is kind of the heart of it.
Yeah.
Like the way they reveal stuff over time is really like there's like 5 twists. And there's 2 like really great ones.
It actually makes I don't know.
And it's not like twist for twist's sake either. It's twist because your perspective wasn't the correct one.
See,
that's the best way to do it.
While we're on the topic of Crichton, anyway, this really makes me want, at some point, once Westworld's done or whatever, once Game of Thrones and its various spin-offs that they're gonna start in 2020.
I'm not excited for spin-offs.
Yeah. Once those are done, I'd love if they picked up Jurassic World. Or Jurassic Park, rather, the novel as a series.
That would be great.
Because I know you haven't read the book.
Mm-mm.
I have. You could make a series very much in the vein of Westworld out of Jurassic Park. You just have to probably set it a little bit before the book starts. The book goes into the backstory, of course, of the park, but that's mostly in the prologue in the first chapter where they're talking about the build-ups in genetic technology and stuff. Actually have some of that play out on screen, show John Hammond or going around going to investors.
Do you know what I would like too? Is if like at the end of season 1, that's when the movie begins, and season 2 picks up after that movie in canon. Think about that.
That's actually a really interesting idea. That way, it doesn't step over the toes of the movie.
Because the movie is like a great movie.
That's actually a really good point. They should have it be the first season be the build up of Jurassic Park,
or first 2 seasons, whatever, however you want to pace it.
Because in the book, there's a scene, specifically in the prologue, where they talk about John Hammond going around getting investors for Jurassic Park.
But you know what I like is because they don't... Like, John Hammond in the movies is like this ideal paragon, but if you explore it and then you have the movie, you're like, whoa, wait a second. It's not what I thought.
In the books, he's a dick, so I want them to explore this further.
Well, it's kind of like a Dumbledore thing, and I know this is a little less nuanced because I think J.K. Rowling a little bit hammers stuff.
Sure.
But, like, Dumbledore starts out as this, like... Oh, he's this really nice guy. And then by the end of the movies, you're like, I didn't even know who the fuck Dumbledore was. You know what I mean? Or I guess the books, but I didn't read all the books because I was aging out of it. So.
Yeah. That's actually an excellent idea. I love that. So there's a scene from the book where he goes to investors, and as part of his pitch, he has a teacup elephant that he unveils it. It's a whole thing. So I think you could build an entire series based upon him pushing engineers and the engineers scrambling to try and make this
crazy
project,
shit.
Yeah, make it work. How do we... You could make a whole first series about, okay, now we have dinosaurs. How do we learn how to take care of dinosaurs? Maybe they clone some dinosaurs at first and they just fucking die because...
Of course they would.
Because, some of their genes didn't express correctly.
Or we don't know how to fucking feed them.
Or something they never address in the movies, which would be interesting.
Atmosphere.
The atmosphere today is different than it was back then. So a dinosaur back then, teleported to today, couldn't live. You would have to make it able to live in our current
I assume they would be able to live it.
conditions.
They maybe could live, but strugglingly.
I believe the
oxygen levels.
much more oxygen rich the atmosphere was back then.
Never mind.
Okay.
But also, I would like to retcon the part where the Asian guy is baddie. Because he was like one of my favorite parts.
Oh, yeah.
He was one of my favorite parts because he has such a pure sort of like, oh, look at, we're birthing this new life, and he's really excited about it. And then later on he just uses them as puppets to make money.
You know what? And if you did a series, you could have that character and maybe...
Have an arc towards that.
Where
that's fine.
In the first season, he is very excited about it, and then he sees people like John Hammond coming and like fucking...
You know what? I'm fine with that, but they never, in Jurassic World, they never give you any of that, so...
So that's, once
also,
again...
Also, Nedry, having a Nedry arc, and you know he's the bad guy eventually, but seeing him... change to that. Like, maybe he gets actually mistreated.
He does in the book. Right. They explain very clearly, for one thing, he has a whole team. I mean, it makes sense. Nedry is he's a contractor.
He's the head of...
He's the head of his own company, basically, that works on tech stuff freelance. And he's the only one on the island at the time, but he had a whole team, but then John Hammond kept cutting his budget back until he's the only one there, and he continually ignores his requests for equipment and stuff in the book. In the book, Nedry's not a good guy, but... John Hammond is definitely painted as your asshole boss who you could understandably fuck over.
I think kind of like Black Mirror Season 4 Episode 1 with the, like, not quite a psycho at all, but he definitely was mistreated, and so there's a little bit of him that I understand the escapism of that.
Yeah.
So if you don't know Black Mirror, that makes no sense to you, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know. I think a series would be great. Were there any other movie?
There was briefly Avengers. There was the Infinity War spot. It was only about 30 seconds long, but we did get some new shots and stuff. We saw
specifically the shields.
Yeah, we saw Captain America or Nomad. I don't know if they'll call him
two-shielded cat.
He is sort of a you see it.
It's like a blade almost, yeah. But it's two. But again, in the running shot when he's running towards, in the first trailer he didn't have these, but in the second one he has one on each arm.
Yeah, and it's actually interesting too. It reminds me a little bit. Recently, Captain America. There was a thing in the comics where it turned out he was part of Hydra or whatever, but he got a different shield that wasn't circular anymore. Yeah. It actually pulled out into like a sword and a shield.
It's kind of neat.
Which is kind of neat, so it's kind of maybe taking.
Is he still that, by the way? I don't know, because I know a lot of people were like, "Oh my god!"
I don't follow it week to week. No, I think that's been done for a while.
So that was like last year.
Yeah. Let's see.
Bleeding edge armor that you called.
Oh yeah,
you totally called it.
That was been speculated upon for a long time because that's sort of the ultimate evolution of Tony's armor anyway. And since this is probably one of the final movies, I assume Robert Downey Jr. is going to be.
He's dead as fuck at the end of this, right?
If it's not this one, it's going to be in part 2. I gotta imagine he's going to bail out. At the very least, Disney doesn't want to pay him the ridiculous amount of money he gets every movie anymore.
Literally, that scene in Civil War where it's like, you wouldn't lay down on the barbed wire fence, and then he said I would cut it. He's gonna have to lay down on the barbed wire fence. It's gonna be a metaphor. We might even get a fucking montage, although I don't think actually Marvel is that hockey. I don't think they're that schlocky. I think what we'll get is Cap talking about that if he doesn't die, which I think this is the best way to do it at this point.
I think we'd get a nice funeral scene, and we'd get Captain America probably eulogizing Iron Man in a very very Captain America kind of way, and you'd have all the Avengers there.
Right. And I think it'd be something that you would notice going back and watching them through.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I think Tony Stark's dead as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But we did get a really cool scene where we got to see Iron Man, Spider-Man in his iron armor, and I think Black Panther.
Yeah, we also saw this was just a cool shot, just because I love juxtaposition in superhero power sets. Love the shot of Doctor Strange doing some sort of magic, and then Iron Man fucking flies right through his magic thing. That was cool because, again, magic technology. I like that.
You know what I like? I really appreciate that Marvel's just like, these are comic book movies.
Yeah.
Let's just own it. We're not trying to make The Dark Knight. It's not Academy Award-winning films. They're just going to be fun. They're always going to be a 7.5 or more. Like, that's just kind of their thing. And you know what? I'm in with that. I'm fine with that because it's never been this. Like, they're very clear money grabs, but they're money grabs that have been forecast for like 7 years. You know what I mean?
Here's what.
It's not as cynical as Disney.
Marvel superhero movies are the DiGiorno pizza of movies.
No, they're the California Pizza Kitchen frozen section of movies because they're always good.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Some days you're like, this DiGiorno pizza, not great, but it was still a pizza.
I think there's some days that's a you thing.
Some days you're like, this is a fucking good pizza.
No one's ever been like that with DiGiorno except you.
Yeah, I'm garbage.
Okay, so for everyone else, like whatever your top end frozen pizza is, that's what it is because it's still a frozen pizza. But it can sometimes be a really good experience. Like I have a home run in pizza in that freezer. It's been sitting there for 4 weeks. But someday I'm going to be like, God damn, I want that home run in.
I don't think I've ever had a pizza in my freezer for more than 2 days.
Wow. I don't know if you could see that realization wash over me, but oh my God. Really? That's nuts. Okay. That's a lot of pizza.
You buy pizza.
You buy pizza to have it when
you eat
want
it.
Pizza.
What?
Then get fresh pizza. Like why are you getting frozen pizza?
You say that like there's time when I don't want pizza.
Then fucking order real pizza.
Well, that's expensive.
It's not that. I would rather have a Little Caesars hot and ready than a DiGiorno. 100% of the time.
Oh God, Little Caesar sauce, heartburn. Anyway.
Me too, though. I will agree with that. But no, the middle of DiGiorno's, they have like 1 billion pounds of bread. And then
I like the DiGiorno bread.
It's just so much bread. And then the middle is always a soggy mess. Oh. You like the soggy mess, though, right? You eat that and you're like, ooh, that's a little cold. I like that. I feel like you do.
I'm a soggy mess.
Yeah, okay. Is there any more things besides, well, commercials are coming. I think we'll do commercials after.
Yeah,
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it right now.
I heard that all the Tide ads were.
The Tide ads were good.
I heard they
were. Like
that.
Ed Hopper, whose name I will never remember other than Hopper.
Oh, the Dundee commercials for the fake Crocodile Dundee sequel, I actually thought looked very funny.
Yeah,
good for them.
So tune in next time for that.
No, next time's Han Solo.
Okay, then don't tune in for it. Han Solo's next. Tomorrow.